Welcome to episode 17 of Eye on Horror. I'm your host, James J. Edwards, and with me, as always, is Jacob Davison. How you doing, Jacob?
Doing great, and happy to be back yet again.
And also with me is your other host, Jonathan Correa. How you doing, John?
Doing great. Hey, guys, it's our first one of the year.
2019, here we come.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
And they said we wouldn't come back.
No, I think I said that.
Well, we proved you wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, shows what you know, James.
Yeah. We actually, this is pretty regular schedule for us. It has not been that long since we talked. So what have you guys been up to in, the 10 days since we talked? Jacob, what have you been doing?
Not much. Still been, doing work with the Arrow Theater. Had a great New Year's Eve. Got some big sandwiches at Cantor's Deli, and then finally saw Terror Train for the first time. So that was cool.
Yes.
And we did our annual screening of Duck Soup, so that's always fun. And I've been making great use of MoviePass. Not on the horror front, but I saw Into the Spider-Verse for the third time today, and still awesome.
Wait a second. Wait. You're able to get your movie pass to work?
Or sorry, A-list. I meant A-list.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, who still has movie pass? And if you do, how the fuck do you get it to work? Because,
sorry, brain fart.
I ditched MoviePass after not being able to see a single movie in November, so I canceled it because it's like, if you use it once, it pays for itself, but they make it so you can't even use it once.
Yeah, that's why I switched to A-list.
I just got A-list, yeah.
But yeah, so saw Spider-Verse for the third time, and I saw Vice a couple days ago, and well, kind of on the horror front, I saw Aquaman by James Wan.
Korea, what'd you do? How was your New Year's Eve?
My New Year's Eve was pretty good. Just went to a friend's house, had a couple beers, just being trying to do better. Taking Dean Wormer's words to heart. Drunk, fat, and stupid is no way to go through life. So trying to work on that. Also trying to catch up on going to the theaters. I signed up for AMC A-List, and I went and saw Spider-Man, which was phenomenal. Not horror related, but still, everyone should see it at least once in theaters. But I have been catching up on my Blu-rays because I'm an avid Blu-ray collector and buyer, but I work over 60 hours a week, so it's difficult for me to sit down and watch them. But I've been catching up lately. Been watching a lot of good stuff. I finally watched Splice with Chance the Rapper and Zazie Beetz, which was all right. It was okay. Finally watched the original Haunting, House on Haunted Hill, 1999. Watched The Girl with All the Gifts, finally. Holy shit, did I love that movie. That was phenomenal. And been catching up on James Bond. Never watched a James Bond movie, so I've been working my way.
Wait. Never? Like, not a single James Bond movie?
Okay.
There's like 30 of them.
I've seen most of the Daniel Craig ones except for Spectre. But most people have yelled at me when I say I've only seen most of the Daniel Craig ones, so I'm starting from the beginning, and I'm enjoying that, it's actual spying with the first ones. It's a lot of I've noticed a lot of the early Sean Connery ones. It's mostly him fucking up, and then dealing with it. You know what I mean? It's always oh, I didn't check this one thing, or oh, they worked their way around my very not that good tactic. But then he always comes out on top, which is cool. It's problematic with how they treat women and non-white people, but everything else is cool. Yeah. But I do have to say, I took advantage of Voodoo's disc to digital, and I got a few titles. One of which was A Simple Favor.
Oh, yeah. Did you love it or did you love it?
Oh, did I love it? Are you kidding me? That was so up my alley. A Simple Favor, if our listeners don't know about it, is a sleeper film from last year, directed by Paul Feig, Freaks and Geeks, Bridesmaids, Female Ghostbusters, and it's got Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively, and it is the best Lifetime original movie ever made, but it wasn't made for Lifetime original. This film is the perfect concoction of like John Waters humor minus the whole like his like, you know, over the top trashiness. Just take like the overall humor of him and like apply it to like a 90s erotic thriller, but like made nowadays.
I was joking after I saw it that I thought that I had like gotten up and taken a piss and come back into the wrong theater, because it gets to a point like about halfway through where it just takes a left turn and it actually becomes a Paul Feig movie, because it's not really a Paul Feig movie until it gets to that last act. But it was probably, it was my number 6 of last year. But then I saw, and don't look this up because it'll kill it for you, I saw the original ending on YouTube. And it is this stupid little flash mob dance scene that is, it will make you cringe. Don't look it up.
I will.
If you like it.
Here's the thing.
I'm trying to talk you out of it.
Is A Simple Favor just has this like, its humor just reminds me of a lot of like of a lot of queer cinema, you know, like especially like James Whale's had that like very distinct type of humor. John Waters has it too, and like it just reminds me of a lot of like cinema, LGBT cinema, and it's just so deliciously devilish with all of it. And
Would you say it's campy?
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. It is, but it takes itself just serious enough where it walks that fine line where it's not too campy, but it should be. I don't know, man. Like, as soon as I finished it, I texted Lindsay and was like, you need to watch this movie because I need to talk to people about this, because this is just like my kind of trash. It's a lot of fun.
It's funny. Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively are two of my ladies. I love those two both. And when I saw A Simple Favor, my wife was with me, and there's one scene, you know, it's not too much of a spoiler. There's one scene where they kiss, and my wife is like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." And then one of them says, "Let's order a pizza," or something like that. And I'm like, okay, now this is like my dreams.
That isn't a spoiler, and it's weird because like I sometimes when I watch movies, you know, you jokingly go like, "Oh, why don't they just make out already?" But those two, especially early in the film, just like have this like energy and this like flirtation with each other that is just so riveting. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I feel really douchey for being like, just make out already, but Jesus Christ, just make out already. You know?
Yeah, I loved A Simple Favor. I remember talking about it when I first saw it. So this if you're a regular listener, this shouldn't be new to you, but let's reiterate, see A Simple Favor.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun. But yeah,
so is it an actual Lifetime movie?
No, it's not.
No. It was in theaters.
Yeah, it had a small run. It just came out of nowhere. It felt like I remember one day I looked up and there were billboards all over LA, and I was like, "What the fuck is this movie?"
This is the one. The big promotional campaign for it was like, I think Blake Lively unfollowed everybody on her Instagram that wasn't named Emily, and and the whole campaign for it was based around "Where's Emily?" because her character's named Emily and she disappears. So that was kind of the whole thing. So you may have,
does she?
Or
speaking of that sort of stuff, I actually did watch this straight up parody type Lifetime TV movie thing. It's called Mother May I Dance with Mary Jane's Fist, a Lifetone original movie, and I looked it up. Okay, so it was made by Mary Elizabeth Ellis and Artemis Pebdani from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you know, the waitress and Artemis. And yeah, here's the description. In this homage to the melodramatic made-for-TV movie genre, aspiring ballerina Mary Jane Stevens moves to a new town with her emotionally abusive mother in hopes of escaping her physically abusive father. And it was originally a play they performed at Upright Citizens Brigade. And it does kind of have that John Waters style to it, and it just goes way over the top, but I thought it was hysterical.
Speaking of Lifetime originals, that was my New Year's Eve was spent, as it is every year, just watching movies. And one that I watched was it's called Terror in the Woods. And do you guys remember that Beware the Slender Man documentary from about 2 years ago? This is a dramatization of that case where two little girls lure a third into the woods and they try to kill her in the name of... It's not Slender Man in this thing. It's something like Sassamon or something. They call him something else in this movie. But it's actually pretty well acted by the kids. The little girl who is the victim of the stabbing it's heart-wrenching, and the actual scene where they're trying to kill her, which, you know, I mean, it's a little bit of a spoiler if you don't know the case, but it happens towards the end of the movie. It is just gut-wrenching. I kind of needed to take a walk after seeing it, and it's a Lifetime movie. It's, you're like, this is not supposed to affect me like this.
So what you're saying, James, is that Lifetime did a better Slender Man movie than Slender Man?
Oh yeah. Then Slender. It was better than the Slender Man movie that came out. Yes. I am saying that. Also, New Year's Eve, after that, I watched The Strangers Pray at Night, which I had seen before. And I wasn't a huge fan of it, but the second viewing, it kind of grew on me. And the best part about it was I had kind of forgotten everything about it. So the best jump scare in the movie, it got me. And it didn't get me the first time because it's in the trailer, but it's been so long since I've thought about the movie and been so long since I've seen the trailer that it got me again. It's the one where she's in the that irrigation pipe hiding.
Oh yeah.
It got me, and I was like, oh, holy crap, that was good. And as soon as it happened, it came flooding back, but it was just cool that it took me by surprise again that time. And then I capped off New Year's Eve with my third viewing of Halloween, the new Halloween, and that holds up. That movie is just it's classic like the rest of the movies in the series. It's that one's not going to get old. I love it.
I can't wait because I pre-ordered the Best Buy exclusive steelbook where they use the Mondo artwork for it.
Nice.
I'm not the biggest steelbook fan, but that artwork's too gorgeous to pass up. I'm so pumped on that one.
A worthy investment.
What else has come out? I mean, not much has come out right now. I know that... Have either of you guys seen Escape Room?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, so I guess we can't really talk about it. It's doing great, and I want to see it, but I guess we can't talk. I did see a movie that actually just opened last Friday. I think it's VOD. It's called Rust Creek.
Yeah.
And it's basically, it's kind of a variation on the Deliverance theme. A girl gets lost in the sticks, and a couple of helpful rednecks aren't very helpful, and they assault her, so she runs into the woods and has to avoid them. But there's a twist to it, It's pretty interesting, and it's funny because she's not like a Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor type, but the girl's pretty badass in it. So it's a cool little way to kill an hour and a half or an hour 40.
Would you say more enjoyable than like any of the Wrong Turn movies?
Yes, I would, because the Wrong Turn movies turned into, well,
they're on number 8 or 9,
and those just turned like Wrong Turn 2. I think is a lot of fun.
I love Wrong Turn 2.
The Wrong Turn movies are schlocky. This isn't schlocky at all. This is a more serious, like, it's no Deliverance, but it is more in that vein than it is the Wrong Turn.
So it's just more grounded.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like mutant cannibals. It is just, inbred rednecks.
God, I love Deliverance. Like, it's that soundtrack alone. It has. I have a soft spot for banjo, so that soundtrack to me is awesome.
And that was the movie that put the banjo right on the map.
Yeah, and this is just a notice to anyone who plays banjo. Don't get pissed when someone goes, play the Deliverance song. Like, play Dueling Banjos, okay? Like, no one knows any other songs, like most people, all right? Like,
Embrace
Rainbow
it.
Connection.
Is what?
Rainbow Connection. It's either Dueling Banjos or Rainbow Connection. Those are the two you have to learn. I think that the sheet music comes with every banjo for those two.
You have to. And you know what? Don't just be glad that someone wants to actually hear you play the banjo, okay? Like, and this is again coming from someone who can't help but dance when the banjo is playing and dance ridiculous backwoodsy type dancing. Like just be okay with it, okay? It's fine.
What do we got? What do we got for the subgenre of the episode, Jacob?
All right. Well, I just got the Critters box set from the fine folks at Scream Factory, so I wanted to talk Tiny Terrors, the little monsters that seem kind of cute or funny, but they can kill lots of people, or just they're just, in some kind of horror hijinks. So, yeah, I want to start off talking about Critters, because it actually been a while since I rewatched the show. But, yeah, man, I love the Critters so much because they are such assholes and they are proud of it. And also, unlike a lot of other tiny creatures, like, they actually say fuck. Like, because remember, there's that great bit in Critters 1 where the critters are outside Dee Wallace's house, and they're like, they have weapons, and the other critter's like, so what? And then Dee Wallace Stone blows the critter away with a shotgun, and the other one goes, fuck, in alien subtitles before running off. Yeah, there's kind of maybe humanization with the critters because they're foul-mouthed jerks.
All right. Critters is fun. I haven't watched Critters, which is surprising because this is one of my favorite subgenres. I mean, Gremlins is a masterpiece. Gremlins 2 is...
The new batch.
The new batch is one of the few where I'm like, wow, this sequel is better. And that's saying a lot, because I love Gremlins. If you saw one of my Christmas sweaters, you would know. But...
Tell me you're going to go to Hobgoblins next.
Oh, God.
Hobgoblins.
Hobgoblins. Hobgoblins.
No, actually, Ghoulies has a special place in my heart.
Yes.
Granted, yes. I've only ever seen the first Ghoulies and the third one, Ghoulies Go to College, which is ridiculous on so many levels. But I did just get Ghoulies 1 and 2 from the fine folks at Scream Factory. It's nice to say nice things about them after everything.
Yeah.
You know? But... yeah, isn't that like one of the like basics of horror is something that looks innocent or could be cute, turns out to be evil. I mean, we've discussed this with kids, but Critters, it's even funner because they're more adorable. I mean, Target's tempting me with the singing Gizmo plush right now, but
don't get it wet.
Yeah, I can't be held responsible for anything. So
that's the entire trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cute little things. The original Tiny Terrors. Do you guys remember actually they're the remake as well, but they're cuter in the original Don't Be Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, well, I've seen
the TV movie one.
I haven't seen the TV movie one. I did see the Guillermo del Toro produced one though. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too, though. I think it was mainly due to Gremlins that we got so many Tiny Terror movies from the 80s. And I imagine there was probably a bit of a budget concern with that, just because, it's probably cheaper to do cheap little monsters like that. Like, The Gate. Remember The Gate?
Yeah, The Gate.
And The Gate 2 with Pamela Alden.
I don't know that those were cheap, because those were like stop motion.
Yeah, those were claymation.
I meant just kind of more in a general sense, because there were a lot of cheapo ripoffs, like you said, Hobgoblins. Yeah, which is still one of my favorite Mystery Science Theater episodes, though.
Oh, Hobgoblin from the good folks at Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
I think we all own Hobgoblins because it's been on their way. It was one of the ones that got down to like $9.99. It's like, just buy Hobgoblins. That and Nightmare Sisters.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen it, Hobgoblins. But maybe next time maybe during my Ghoulies marathon that I'm definitely going to have shortly after this episode.
Yeah,
I'll throw in some Hobgoblins in there, followed by some Mac and Me.
Yeah, dude, you got to tell me what you think of Ghoulies 2. Because I feel like Ghoulies 2 is underrated. It's the one that takes place at the carnival and like the Ghoulies take over a house of horrors.
Now, that just sounds perfect. Because the first Ghoulies, it didn't quite know what it wanted. Like, there's a lot of camp comedy in it, but then there was also some like trying to be serious horror camp to it.
Yeah, and like the satanic stuff and I don't know.
It was almost like the filmmakers didn't realize they were making a tiny monster movie where the monsters come out of a toilet, but I feel like, especially because the third one is radically different, it's just straight up like a college frat party.
Animal House meets the Ghoulies.
Yeah, basically. And it's just, typical college hijinks just with these gross things. And the puppetry in that is just, it's almost on Christian television, public access level. But it's awesome.
And that was the thing. Ghoulies had the best tagline, "They'll get you in the end." It just shows the ghoulie in the toilet.
Which, honestly, it wasn't until I got the Blu-ray did I get that. Like, it took me that long, which greatly upsets me. I'm usually really quick with the poop puns and quips. But Ghoulies, you got me.
Yeah, they were too subtle and well-cultured for you.
Well-cultured. Too highbrow.
Including that in my biography. Ghoulies was too highbrow for me, apparently. And that's when I realized I need to shape up. 2019, need to improve.
Let's move on to our topic, which, because it's a new year and it's a new us, and we're keeping our New Year's resolution of keeping on schedule.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some movies that are coming out this year that we're excited for. And I'm going to go first, just so neither of you two steal the one that I'm most excited for. I am most excited for Jordan Peele's Us.
That's what I'm most excited for.
Because Get Out was so phenomenal. And I usually don't watch trailers, but when Us dropped the trailer, a couple weeks back, I watched it, and now I'm in. I have a feeling I'm going to watch anything Jordan Peele makes for the rest of his life, even if he goes through a crappy movies phase.
But only once. You only watch the trailer once. That's what I've done.
Yeah.
With Us.
Yeah, I only watched it once.
I've been tempted to watch it a second and third and eighth time, but I'm like, no, just the once. Leave it at that.
And when I saw Vice, they played the trailer again, so it was interesting seeing it on a big screen. Because, I feel like it's going to be like Get Out, and that there's going to be so much to unpack from that movie, in the best ways possible.
I've watched Get Out probably 6 times, and I get something new every time. And I'm hoping that all of Jordan Peele's movies are like that. I'm hoping they're just so layered that they stand up to rewatches. What are you guys excited about?
Well, as for me, this is going to be a little unexpected, but I am most excited for the Alita Battle Angel movie, which, while definitely more in the science fiction action genre, definitely is rooted in horror to an extent, because I'm a fan of the original manga series, and it could get violent and brutal as hell. And if you've seen the trailers, you see there are some crazy cyborg monsters and designs. There's a giant, like in the manga, there's a giant cyborg that eats brains because it gets him high. So that's just one thing to go through. Of course, it's a PG-13 movie, but in the sense that, it's mostly cyborgs getting chopped up, and they did that thing with kind of like what Evil Dead 2 did, where it's like green blood or off-color blood. But yeah, no, I've been waiting for this movie for over 15 years, so I'm just stoked to see if it's as good as I'm hoping.
Right on. Yeah. Kriya, what's your... Let's do a round robin here where we'll each say one, and so nobody monopolizes. Yeah. Because it's usually me that monopolizes. Kriya, what are you most excited for?
The one, because I'm looking over Kelly's list, and there are so many good ones, and so many ones where I'm just inherently want to see. But the one that's...
The list he's talking about can be found on iHorror.com. Kelly McNeely, who you might remember from our episode, when she guested, the only guest we've had. She did a very comprehensive list, as Kriya is finding out.
Oh yeah, I've been looking at this list for a half hour before we even started recording, and I'm still figuring out all right, which one. Honestly, there's so many to unload, but you know what, Brightburn, that trailer really got me. That concept really got me, because I think that's awesome. We're getting so many. I mean, we're at the height of the comic book movie era, I think, with just quality and also the amount that's being thrown at us. I mean, fuck, we've had 3 Spider-Man movies last year. Or Spider-Man universe movies, because Venom didn't have Spider-Man, but we're getting past that. But yeah, Brightburn, just taking the basic concept of Superman and superheroes and turning that into a horror film sounds awesome. Not to mention that it's written by James Gunn, and even though he's not directing it, like, I generally enjoy like the films that he writes. You know, even Dawn of the Dead had its moments that I really like. A lot of what he did for the Dawn of the Dead remake, I like. What Zack Snyder did with it, I hated, but that's just me. But yeah, Brightburn looks really cool and interesting. That, and I'm doing a second one. Fuck you guys. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Just because that was my childhood, man. I still have my trilogy book set from 20 years ago and love it. And it's from Alvin Schwartz, who did Troll Hunter and Autopsy of Jane Doe with Guillermo del Toro producing. Like, I'm hoping that it's going to be on the same caliber of del Toro's other produced films like Mama and The Orphanage, you know, things like that.
I'm just hoping they keep the same vibe from the books, because it looks like they are, but we don't really know a whole lot about that yet. So that one's on my list as well. But backtracking to what you're saying about Brightburn and the superhero thing, another one of mine is Glass, which actually opens from the time this posts. It opens the Friday after that. I've made my man crush on James McAvoy in Split widely known to anybody who will listen. So I think it's going to be
James,
cool
you like
to
Split?
See. I loved Split, and I love James McAvoy in it.
I'm almost as shocked as to hear that as like Jacob with Mandy. Like, I guess Split is your Mandy, isn't it?
No, it isn't. I wouldn't say, it wasn't even my favorite movie of that year, but it was my favorite performance of that year. But I think it's going to be cool to see what Shyamalan does now that he doesn't have to keep it a secret that it's a superhero movie. You know, I mean, Split, you didn't realize it was an Unbreakable sequel. Spoiler alert to a movie that's a couple years old, and you know, the sequel's coming out that you already know. It's a sequel to Unbreakable, and it was actually the post-credits scene that told you that. And it's going to be cool to see what he can do with it now that the cat's out of the bag, and you know that Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis are teaming up with James McAvoy. I'm just excited. I think that's going to be a cool, especially from what I've seen, it looks like James McAvoy, we might get to see more than 6 or 7 of those 23 personalities now too.
I'm just most excited to see more of McAvoy shirtless, sprinting like a fucking puma. Yeah.
Like Rob Schneider in what was that movie?
The Animal.
The Animal. Like, even that, I'm like, damn, McAvoy. All right. You run on all fours, buddy.
What's another one of yours, Jacob?
Well, keeping with the theme of superheroes and horror, I'm very interested in the New Mutants coming out this year.
Is it though?
Well, I mean, I'm hoping. Anyway, I am excited for the New Mutants. I did see the trailer when that was coming out, and it just sounds like a pretty interesting concept. You know, having the kind of super hero genre mashed up with what seems to be kind of like a haunted house or, you know, asylum situation with like these young mutants who are being held at like a mental institution. So it has a bit of a Legion vibe to it too, and it's also got Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. And I'm a fan of the original comics, which did have a bit of a horror theme to it. Like the New Mutants in that comic, like they fought ghosts and demons and stuff. So interested in seeing how they play that out. And yeah, again, hopefully it's coming out this year, and it's scheduled to come out this year. So I'm just saying, I hope it comes out this year.
Yeah. All right, Korea, we should skip you because you did 2, but we'll let you have another.
All right.
What's next, one Korea? More.
You know... Hey, man. I didn't want someone else to take that one.
I'm with you, because my next one I don't want either of you guys to take, but I don't think you're going to. So
yeah,
hurry up and let me go.
Yeah. Another one that I'm super stoked on that I'm just finding out due to Kelly's article is a film called Little Monsters. The buzz is that it's a horror comedy about a washed-up musician who teams up with a teacher and a kid's TV personality to protect young children from a sudden outbreak of zombies, which I'm always down for new concepts with zombies, especially since I think that's a very, kind of washed genre at this point, and yet I still keep finding.
I have such zombie fatigue. Such zombie fatigue.
But and then there's always that one or two films that comes out a year that makes me go, I can't. It's
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies. Honestly, I really enjoyed, but
I loved it.
Yeah, it was.
Cooties is another.
But Anna and the Apocalypse, we already talked last episode how much I love that. But Little Monsters, main reason is Lupita Nyong'o's in it, and God, she's going to be in Us. So apparently this year is the year for her to do horror. My only reservation with that is it has Josh Gad in it, which I can't get on that train. Josh Gad doesn't do it for me. His whole shtick, his whole thing. Olaf was the most unbearable part of Frozen, which I still don't know why I watched it, but I did. And just to see what the hype was about. And yeah, I just don't like Josh Gad.
Just admit it. You rented it thinking it was the Adam Green Frozen. All right. I'm going.
Go for it.
One that I'm super stoked for, and we've talked about it before. I've actually talked about it a few times before because every time something new happens with it, I bring it up. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which, questionably horror, but I'm a Tarantino groupie, and it's about, well, we don't know how about, but it's about the Manson murders because we know Manson and Squeaky Fromm and Sharon Tate are all in it. So we'll see where they go with it. I'm always down for a good Tarantino movie. I'm a little worried what the running time's going to be because, Hateful Eight was 3 hours, but it was a brisk 3 hours. I just hope if he goes that long, he gives us an intermission like he did with Hateful Eight because, me and my half-beer bladder, I got to get up and take a whiz in the middle of those things. So, I can't wait to see what Tarantino does with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm excited.
I got one, and I'm surprised I'm mentioning it first, but It Chapter 2 is finally coming out this September. And the first one was such a huge hit. Of course, they wanted to get to the rest of the story because, for those familiar, it's about these kids in Derry that find the monster haunting the town, but then it flashes to the present and shows them in their adulthood and having to come back together to try and fight it when it returns. And they got a hell of a cast for
great. They knocked it out of the park. They got people who look just like those kids. Yeah, I mean, who's in it?
Yeah,
Mr. James McAvoy. As well as Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, James Ronson, and, of course, everybody's favorite creepy clown, Bill Skarsgård.
And the Old Spice guy.
They did a great job finding and most of them are A-listers.
Yeah.
That could pull off what those kids look like. The continuity is impressive in this cast.
Extremely so. And I'm especially happy about Bill Hader.
Well, I'm happy about James McAvoy. Of course.
Of course you are. Now, my only thing is I have reservations with Chapter 2 because you see it in the book and you see it in the original miniseries, but the adult parts are not good, or at least not as good as the kids portion. That was definitely the weakest part of the miniseries and the weakest part of the book, in my opinion. So I really hope, and they did say that they are having a lot of they are going to have flashbacks. They're shooting new stuff with the kids, so hopefully they're incorporating a bit more into Chapter 2. But also I hope they beef up the roles a bit of the adults because I remember one character in the book and the miniseries, he commits suicide right off the bat as an adult.
Yeah.
The second he gets the call, he's like, nope, fuck this. I hope they dive more into that. And there was just a lot with I really do hope that this is one of those cases where they don't stick too close to the book, because I mean they did a really good job with the first one of balancing it out, but I'm really hope that they flesh it out more because otherwise you're gonna have a really boring movie, I think.
Yeah, the adult chapters are not nearly as interesting as the kids ones, but
Agreed.
I think that they know that, so hopefully they're going to rectify that. And they've got a hell of a cast.
Yeah, hell of a cast.
Hands down.
You could just tell that cast to improvise, and they come up with some Big Chill type shit.
Oh, yeah. Especially Jessica Chastain. After Molly's Game, dude, forever a fan of her after that movie. She just own that shit.
And that was the thing. She was the one herself who pushed for the role of adult Beverly, because after it came out, she's like, I want to be Beverly. And everybody's like, yeah, she should be Beverly.
And she's worked with Andy Muschietti in Mama as well, so they're familiar with each other. So she, not only did she push for the role, she knew who to push for the role to. You know, she probably just picked up the phone. Yeah, it was like, oh, hey, Andy, I want to do this. And he's like, oh, am I going to say no to Jessica Chastain?
I was about to say, I'm sure that wasn't too much of a fight that they put up against her. Like, I don't know, Jessica. Do we want to have you in our movie? It's like,
we were hoping for Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who was phenomenal in Paddington, I must say.
Oh, my God. Have you seen Paddington 2 yet?
Oh, dude, I can't. Here's the thing. I can't watch it at work, and I can't watch it at home because Lindsay, for some reason, does not want to watch Paddington at all.
No. What's her phone number? I will get her to Paddington. Those movies. The second one with Hugh Grant is, dude, there's like McAvoy level genius coming out of Hugh Grant in Paddington 2. It's incredible.
You're saying he was better in Paddington 2 than Man from U.N.C.L.E. Because he was awesome in Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, I think Paddington 2 is the high point of Hugh Grant's career.
That is a bold statement, James.
And I stand behind it. All right, let's move on to actual horror, though.
Yeah.
Who did we leave off? I think it's Korea's turn.
Well, I kind of want to spit off a few, because there's a bunch of sequels and reboots that are coming out that maybe we're not super stoked on, but they're noteworthy at least.
Let's just start spitting them out.
First of all, I'm going to regurgitate this fucker out. Happy Death Day to You. The movie I was so angry to find out was made.
It's got a great title, though.
I'll give it that, but other than that, nope. In my book, I'm sorry, my opinions on the first one are well known. But on the flip side, Soska Sisters doing a remake of Rabid sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about that one.
That I'm skeptical, because Cronenberg is probably the closest thing to a favorite director I have.
Yeah,
but I mean, I trust that they'll take it a different enough direction that it'll. I don't know that I'm going to be comparing it to Cronenberg, honestly.
And that's my thing. I will always be reserved when it comes to someone remaking a Cronenberg, especially early Cronenberg, because that's him at his like weirdest, for me at least. And his
it absolutely is his weirdest.
But I am excited to see what they do with it, because I love the Soskas, and I think that they're going to do at least something fun with it, Another remake coming out, Hellboy.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else.
Yeah, that trailer did not impress me either. I hope it's good. I really do. I love Hellboy. I've already accepted that Guillermo del Toro's not involved.
And no Ron Perlman.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's not. That's like Pinhead not being Doug Bradley.
But that went over so well.
The jury is so far out on this new Hellboy, because Hellboy is Ron Perlman to me. So I don't know about that.
But we'll see.
I thought you were going to take us to the Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery, I'm pretty excited for it, if only because it's the guys who made Starry Eyes are behind it.
And John Lithgow?
Yes, John Lithgow.
John Lithgow?
And of course, John Lithgow. I mean, God.
Oh, yeah, John Lithgow.
Forever man crush right there, John Lithgow. I mean, how could you not? It's a beautiful man. Yeah. What's another remake sequel that you guys are...
Well, a kind of remake sequel... Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am really excited for it.
Michael
I'm
Dougherty.
so fucking pumped for that.
I'm just a Godzilla, freak anyway, and it looks like that, looks like they're going to have Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. I don't know if Kong's going to be in this one. I think they might be saving him for King Kong versus Godzilla.
We'll probably tease it.
Yeah, they'll probably do like an end clip.
There'll be a post-credit or something.
And also, I got to say that I am so stoked that Godzilla is going to be smashing my hometown of Boston.
Yeah,
because you see in the trailer, like I think Godzilla or one of them showing up in Boston. So I want to see the King of the Monsters smash the Green Monster. It's a badge of honor for any major metropolitan city.
Is he going to take out Tom Brady's house or Brad Marchand's house?
You wish.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Oh, God.
I just want to see him destroy a little bit of Southie. That place needs a good cleaning up.
I want to see him smash all the high-rise apartment complexes.
Yeah.
Because fuck those.
I got to see Jurassic Park 2 destroy my hometown, so now you get to see Godzilla, King of the Monsters, do yours.
That's probably the only enjoyment out of Jurassic Park 2. Oh no! I'm thinking Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. My apologies to Lost World Jurassic Park. My apologies.
What else we got coming out?
Child's Play. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Anyone else forget that they're remaking Child's Play? I forgot.
That's that one. I'm the jury is so far out on that one too. I don't know if we need a new Child's Play, honestly.
Okay, I got one. I'm stoked for The Lighthouse, the new Robert Eggers movie with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. Sounds pretty interesting.
Do they play a father son? Do you know?
Because they could.
Because I could totally see that.
Yeah. I'm looking at Kelly's article, and she has a side by side of Dafoe and Pattinson, and the resemblance, now that you mention it, is uncanny.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, if Robert Pattinson lost and I'm not saying he has a fat face, but if he lost like a little bit more in his face.
But Defoe is gone, yeah.
They totally... Oh, man. They're going to make some weird faces in that movie.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's a period piece set in 1890, and, I just think it's about them as lighthouse keepers, and I've heard there's going to be there may be some sea monster action in there, and I'm all about sea horror, so... pretty interested to see where Eggers comes up with, especially because he's basically making another New England horror movie, because, The Witch was in colonial England, and this is set during whaling New England.
Along the same lines as that, a new movie from someone who had a big breakout is Under the Silver Lake, which is the guy who made It Follows a few years back. Now, I don't know if Under the Silver Lake is actually a horror movie. I've heard that it is not.
Yeah, I heard it's just kind of a weird neo-noir.
Yeah, like a fantasy kind of a thing. I'm a little worried because it has a 2-hour and 20-minute running time, which, I was just talking about Tarantino can do that all he wants, and I think PTA can do it all he wants too. I'm not sure that David Robert Mitchell from It Follows can pull off a movie about an hour longer than it should be, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it warrants a 2-hour and 20-minute running time. Also, backtracking to sequels that we're excited for, 3 from Hell.
Yes, I was actually just about to mention that. I
have kind of a love-hate with Rob Zombie because basically either I love or I hate his movies, and but The Devil's Rejects is one that I have loved.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully I can't wait to see how he explains how those 3 are still alive, because it kind of looked like they were Bonnie and Clyded to death at the end of Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he miseries them out of that one.
It gets them out of the cockadoodie car.
Yeah. Out of the cockadoodie. I need to start saying that more. Cockadoodie.
Cockadoodie.
That's something I need
to... We should bring that back.
Yeah, I swear a lot. So, you know what? That's one of my New Year's resolutions for this podcast. Number 1, see more movies so that I can actually talk to you guys. And number 2, instead of swearing, let's say cockadoodie. Speaking of, anyone else forget that they're making a cockadoodie movie adaptation of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And that DJ Caruso is attached to it.
Now, that part I did not know.
Is that a movie? I thought they were doing another TV series. Is it a movie?
No, they're doing a movie version.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And DJ Caruso, who did Disturbia and then Eagle Eye, and then just kind of disappeared for a little bit, and then came back with Triple X Return of Xander Cage, which was, I love Triple X 1 and 3. 2 doesn't exist in my books, but 2 is worth it just for that Ice Cube cameo in the third one. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm interested enough just from that, him being involved. I'm interested enough to, why not? Give it a shot. Goosebumps was fun, so as long as, they do something along those lines of fun with it, why not?
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they do with it, because, basically the whole format is just a bunch of kids go out in the woods to tell scary stories. So, I mean, it could be something like that where they draw from multiple stories, or could be even a new anthology movie, you know, kind of like the Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. So, yeah, we don't know a whole lot, but yeah, I'm interested in seeing how it shakes out. Because I grew up on Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like I watched that all the time on Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Or Snick.
I hope they do something completely different with it, like they did with Goosebumps, where, you know, they had already had a TV series that did all the Goosebumps books. So what Goosebumps did was basically make the books come alive in a different way.
Right.
I kind of hope they do something like that with it, because we've already seen the TV show.
Right.
So let's, you know, I would love to see the campfire story. Maybe the campfire stories follow them home, or I don't know. But see, that's just ripping off Goosebumps. So.
Well, either way, there's going to be a movie, and so we'll see how they did it.
Yeah, whatever they do, we'll find out soon enough.
Yep.
All right. Now, what is something that you guys are a little baffled that's coming out? Like, I'm not saying like let's shit on something, but just like you're kind of like, really, they're doing that?
Well, actually, before we get on that topic, there is one other movie I wanted to talk about a little seriously.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, Alexandre Aja, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alexandre Aja, the director of Piranha 3D and High Tension, all those, is coming back with a new horror movie this year called Crawl. And it sounds pretty interesting to me because it's about a woman trapped in a flooding house during a Category 5 hurricane as she finds herself in a fight for her life against lots and lots of alligators. And so it sounds like a pretty simple concept, you know, just woman trapped in a flooding house and there's a bunch of alligators. But, you know, again, going off of Piranha 3D and his other movies, it's going to probably be brutal as hell.
Sounds like something out of a news headline from Florida. You know?
In the Inquirer, woman's house invaded by gators.
Florida woman survived 5 days with house full of gators during last hurricane.
She had to eat the gators to survive.
What is okay? What I can't think of any that, like you said, that are baffling me. What did you have in mind for that when you asked?
Well, it's just so like. All right, so there's.
I'm kind of baffled that they're remaking Child's Play.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But we already kind of discussed that. So what?
Well, they're doing a prequel to The Grudge, and
okay,
and that's coming out later this year, which is interesting to me. First of all, it's from the director of Eyes of My Mother, which was good, but it's just like. Why? You know, I thought we were kind of past the whole remaking J-horror thing, and I really thought Rings would have definitely put the final nail on that coffin of trying to like reboot those franchises, because they had their time and place then, and Rings killed Friday the 13th reboot, so you would think it would kill any plans to redo Grudge, but here we are with a I guess it's a prequel to The Grudge. There's really not a whole lot that's out about it, but apparently it's slated to come out in June.
I mean, that's kind of the weird thing, because I guess it depends on how far of a prequel and in what context we're talking, because if it's a prequel, then that means it happens before there's a ghost or a curse, because that's what it's all about, you know? So
yeah, but it's just a rumor that it's a prequel. Again, not much is out on it, but Arrow is putting out a pretty dope set of the original Japanese series, like the first three,
wow,
as like a UK exclusive, which I'm very tempted, but I don't know if I want to drop like $50 on that right now.
I will say I did really like The Ring versus The Grudge that came out a year or two back. And they released it on Shudder. Like, did you guys see that one?
No,
yeah.
But I remember the promotions they did for that.
Yeah, the promotions were the best.
They had
kind of like when they promoted Freddy vs. Jason or Alien vs. Predator. Like, they had the Grudge girl and the Ring girl. Like,
throw out the first pitch at a baseball
throw out the first pitch at a baseball game. That was awesome.
But that movie was crazy because it wasn't really about those two. It was about that one. Was he blind?
Yeah, the blind psychic.
Yeah, the blind psychic who was like fighting him. That guy was crazy.
Although I thought it was an actually pretty scary movie, but again, that was done by the Japanese studios, and this is an American remake prequel, I guess. But though it is interesting to hear that the director of Eyes of My Mother is doing it, because I really loved that movie, and that was kind of an artsy type of film. So I wonder if they'll bring that same kind of aesthetic to The Grudge.
Yeah,
so,
but it's also just kind of like, really? Okay.
Yeah, it is an odd concept, I gotta say.
Again, not trashing it, because, again, we don't know much about it except who's attached to it, and apparently it's coming out real soon, but, that's still just, it's a little baffling, to say the least.
What else we got that's coming out? Let's start wrapping up.
Well, did we talk about the Jacob's Ladder remake? Because that's baffling in a whole other way.
Well, the Jacob's Ladder one, I guess it's shelved.
Yeah.
So it may not even
times.
come out. Yeah. But that one is kind of,
Dude, they've been doing test screenings for that for 2 years. I actually almost went to one. They turned me away at the very, they literally brought in a bunch of people before me and Lindsay. Like we got to the door, and they, right when it got to us, they started going, all right, guys, here's a voucher for a free movie to see. So we saw Crazy Rich Asians instead. But, that's interesting that, it's been test screening for so long, and they still are like, no, we can't release it. So
it's not ready.
Makes you wonder, is it really that bad, or is the studio just, not chill with what was made, I
don't know. We may never see that one. You know what is supposedly coming out, but I think it might be getting dumped to Netflix, is that we've also been hearing about for 2 years, Polaroid.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that on the list.
Yeah, supposedly that it's getting dumped to Netflix, though, which is fine, because then we'll get to see it, but maybe it's not good that we're going to get to see it if it's that bad.
Yeah, but Netflix is trying to not be the dumping ground for stuff. Apparently they turned away Sherlock and Watson,
Holmes and Watson, yeah.
So I think they kind of learned their lesson where, they can only get away with that so many times, especially after...
They're trying to be big players in the film. I mean, they have the new Coen Brothers movie and the new Alfonso Cuarón movie, both of which are awards contenders. Roma is actually cleaning up awards. It won a couple Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
They're trying to become... So they might want to be less of a dumping ground just because they're trying to be taken more seriously as a film distribution company.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What doesn't make sense is that Roma, a movie that... In my opinion, the only reason to see Roma is because of the cinematography. I wasn't a big fan of the story. So that should be seen on the biggest screen you can find. So the fact that people are going to be watching it on their iPads just kills me.
Okay, David Lynch. How can you be watching it on a goddamn phone? Remember that clip? That was a great clip.
I remember that clip vividly.
Yeah, my impression was terrible, though. I could do better, but I won't try.
Well, let's start wrapping this up. This is by no means a comprehensive list. If you want a more comprehensive list, go to iHorror and look up Kelly's list that, honestly, we've been pulling off of for most of this episode, because she actually did the work for us, and we are just the talking heads.
Yeah. Honestly, we did have our list set before we looked at this, but Kelly found some really good stuff that we didn't think of. So we weren't just going, oh, let's just read off her list. She did a great job.
I think that we all mentally blocked the fact that there was going to be a Child's Play remake this year. Because that's bad.
Too dramatic.
Let us know what you're excited for. If we missed one of your favorites, or if you agree with us about being excited, go on over to our Facebook page, the Eye on Horror Facebook page, and let us know what you are excited for.
Yeah, and fingers crossed that they announce and surprise release Rampage 2 this year.
Yes.
That'd be great. What would it be? More possible
Rampage
titles.
World
time.
Tour.
More
like the games.
Yeah.
Rampager.
Rampager or Rampagest.
No.
Rampagest.
Live free or Rampage hard. More Rampage.
Rampage with a vengeance.
Rampage with a vengeance.
Rampage harder.
Ah, jeez. All right. And on that, Rampage Harder. That's the one. Rampage Harder.
Yeah.
All right. Our theme song is Restless Spirit. I almost said DMP. Is Restless Spirit. So go and rock with them. Our artwork is Chris Fisher, so go and rock with him. Where can we find you guys on the Twitters, Jacob?
You can find me on the Twitters at Jacob Davison _. That is at JACOBDAVISON _.
And Korea?
And you can find me on social media sites such as Twitter and Instagram as Korean Barbecue. That's CORREIA. And BBQ. And don't forget to check out iHorror on Twitter, Facebook, and also Stardust.
And you can find me on Twitter at Cinema Ferite. That's Verite, but with fear, so it's FEARITE. And you can find all three of us at the iHorror Facebook page, the iHorror Facebook page, or... I don't know. Geez, at our houses.
Please don't find us at our houses.
Porches.
I'm already having enough issues with like this homeless person who keeps like leaving hurricane malt liquor cans and used needles in my parking spot. I don't need people showing up here.
All right. Well, okay. Then just show up on my porch and and I'll call the dogs off.
And I'll be at an undisclosed location like Dick Cheney.
Your bunker in the ground?
Yeah. With my man-sized safe.
All right. Okay, well, that's going to be it for us. I'm James J. Edwards.
I'm Jacob Davison.
And I'm Jonathan Correa.
Keep your eye on horror.